Neanderthal Extinction Hypotheses.
Hi there, my name is Gillian, and I'm a Harvard undergraduate in the Human Evolutionary Biology Department.
You've already learned that the Neanderthal and modern human lineages split from each other 630 to 520,000 years ago. Modern humans migrated out of Africa and came into contact with their sister species, the Neanderthals, about 50,000 years ago. Neanderthals had already been around for over 150,000 years when modern humans first overlapped with them. But just 10 to 20,000 years after modern humans move into Neanderthal territory in Europe, the Neanderthals go extinct.
What caused this relatively quick extinction? Why did we survive and they didn't? Were we just smarter and stronger than the Neanderthals, and that's what allowed us to survive? Let's dive into these questions and look at some hypotheses scientists have proposed for why the Neanderthals went extinct.
The first hypothesis we'll talk about is more far-fetched than the others. This hypothesis revolves around the spread of infectious agents called prions, which cause degeneration of brain tissue in and among Neanderthal groups. Because there is fossil evidence that some Neanderthals practiced cannibalism, and especially cannibalism of the brain, one researcher developed a model based on known infection and mortality rates of prion diseases, combined with hypothesized Neanderthal population size, that suggests a cannibalism-induced prion could have caused Neanderthal population levels to drop to critically low levels in just 250 years.
This hypothesis is intriguing, but because there's no actual archaeological evidence of a prion disease, this hypothesis is less well accepted than the other hypotheses we'll talk about. The second hypothesis we'll talk about is climate change.
While most Neanderthals lived in Europe during the Ice Age, some periods were still significantly colder than others. According to stable isotope records collected from cave rock formations, there were 2 periods of rapid and significant cooling, reduced precipitation, and retreat of forested areas in Europe right around the time of the Neanderthal extinction. These periods were 44.3 to 43.3 thousand years ago and 40.8 to 40.2 thousand years ago. The Neanderthals went extinct at the time period coinciding with this second major cooling. While Neanderthals were adapted to the cold climate, the normal cold conditions were harsh enough that Neanderthal populations were already small to begin with. Perhaps these significant cooling periods put enough strain on Neanderthal population sizes to lead to their extinction. There was also a volcanic supereruption in southern Italy right around the time of Neanderthal extinction 40,000 years ago. Some scientists think this could have caused a volcanic winter and substantially cooled the planet. Perhaps these 2 significant cooling periods right around the time of Neanderthal extinction and/or the volcanic winter put the nail in the Neanderthals' coffins. The third hypothesis is competition with modern humans. Modern humans dispersed into Neanderthal territory suspiciously close to the time of Neanderthal extinction. In fact, in parts of the Old World near Africa, first appearance dates for Homo sapiens outside of Africa frequently correspond closely with last appearance dates for Neanderthals in that region. Many scientists think we outcompeted them.
Scientists point to factors in modern humans such as lower caloric needs, larger social groups, and more complex hunting technology as reasons why modern humans might have had an evolutionary fitness advantage over Neanderthals. Interestingly, a recent study using Neanderthal DNA measured Neanderthal genetic diversity lower than any modern human group and among the lowest measured for any organism. From this, scientists can infer that Neanderthals likely encountered many population bottlenecks and likely had a much smaller population size than modern humans when they met. Small populations are disadvantageous from an evolutionary fitness perspective because they lead to a greater chance of harmful mutations rising to high frequencies in the population.
This study concluded that Neanderthals would have had 40% lower fitness than modern humans because of the predicted accumulation of harmful mutations due to population size.
So perhaps modern humans outcompeted Neanderthals because we came from a much larger population, not because we were smarter or stronger. The fourth and final hypothesis is the projectile weapon hypothesis.
Stone points small enough to be used for projectile weapons, like throwing spears, darts, and bow and arrows, appear abruptly in the modern human fossil record 35 to 45,000 years ago, during Homo sapiens' dispersal into Neanderthal inhabited areas. Neanderthals, however, did not seem to have adopted projectile weaponry, and if they did, it was at the very end of their time on the planet, possibly from copying modern humans. These weapons could have been very useful in the colder Eurasian climates in enabling hunters to hunt a wider variety of prey. Neanderthals likely did not adopt this technology because they had higher caloric needs and thus could not waste calories on developing new technologies when they could be hunting.
Also, modern humans likely had larger social groups and more division of labor than Neanderthals, so it might have been more time efficient for modern humans to be making complex projectile weaponry than for the Neanderthals. In a changing climate, the more calorie efficient modern humans with larger social groups could spend the time to construct more complicated projectile weaponry. Perhaps because of this, modern humans outcompeted and pretty quickly displaced Neanderthals. So, we can't know for sure what caused the Neanderthal extinction, but likely a combination of the hypotheses we talked about and other factors all contributed. Even the prion disease hypothesis, which on its own seems rather far-fetched, could have contributed to Neanderthal extinction under the backdrop of a rapidly cooling climate and intense competition for limited resources with modern humans. As we continue to learn more about the Neanderthals, and how they were similar and how they were different to ancient modern humans, the story of how they lived and the story of how they eventually died becomes increasingly more clear.